Hey guys, it's Bree and welcome back to another video. Now for today's video, I am going to be doing a manga series review of the series ES Eternal Sabbath. Now I'm going to keep this review pretty spoiler free, but I will be going into the events of the first book in the series. This series is by Fuyumi Soryo, which she is better known for her other work, Mars, which is a very popular dramatic shoujo series. I actually own a volume of Mars, but I have not read it yet, and I haven't gotten around to collecting it yet, so I will not be comparing it to ES today. This series was published by Del Rey, which is kind of like a sub-publisher slash sub-name of Kodansha, and the series was published in 2006, 2007 to 2008. I managed to pick up this series from a local anime convention at one of the booths that was selling old manga, and each of these volumes went for basically $5 to $10 for the most part. Now, as for the actual series, it is a psychological sci-fi thriller. It is basically about genetically modified human beings who were created in hopes to extend the lifespan of humanity. And the series follows two major characters. The first major character that we are introduced to at the beginning of the book is Akiba, who is one of these human beings who was genetically modified to have ES Eternal Sabbath gene, which extends his lifespan, but also gives him psychic powers that enables him to not only read minds, but also manipulate them. And this is seen at the very beginning of the first book, where you get a series of events where he kind of blends into society by manipulating the minds of the people around him to recognize him as people that they actually know in their life. And he uses his power usually to learn more about society, and he also uses it to blend in really well. At the beginning of the book series, he is living with a family, and he is pretending to be one of the sons who I think passed away, but he might just be at college. I can't really remember. Now, during his time staying with the family, he discovers that the son of this family is being bullied by a guy, and then he witnessed the bully commit a really heinous crime. And Akiba, being a very chaotic, neutral character, decides to go out and find the bully after finding out about his crime, and he goes and he psychologically tortures the bully. As a result of this psychological torture, the bully ends up going to the hospital for imaginary wounds, and this is when we are introduced to the second main character of the series. Her name is Mine, and she is a psychological slash neuroscience researcher who is brought in to examine the bully after being psychologically tortured. And it is a very interesting start to the series. This series deals with themes of course, psychological torture, cloning, genetically modified human beings, and psychic powers. It also is a very interesting series because it deals with characters who have varying feelings towards, almost like varying levels of empathy towards other human beings. Our main character, Akiba, at the beginning of the series, I would say he's very detached from humanity. He likes to observe people, but he is pretty chaotic neutral in the sense that sometimes he will punish people for having the thoughts that they have, whether they are violent or criminal. Other times he will see the thoughts of an individual and see that they are thinking about committing a crime and then just not do anything about it. And it is very interesting. Now, Akiba and our other main character, Mine, actually managed to cross paths because Mine is an individual where her thoughts cannot be read by Akiba, which kind of draws him towards her, although he kind of almost doesn't want her in his life at the same time, because he knows that he doesn't have an ability to wipe away her memories like he would for a normal person, and that she could pursue him and kind of prevent him from just living his life observing humans / committing psychological crimes, I guess. I really love this series. It is a dark series as much as it is a thriller, and the ending just, honestly, I couldn't believe what happened. It went in a way that where I was kind of expecting one thing to happen, and then that thing happened, but also like 2 other things happened that I was not expecting, and it was just so well done. The pacing of the story is perfect. It's honestly like you're watching a crime thriller drama on TV almost. It has very similar pacing, and I just loved it. I loved all of the psychological aspects of it. I loved that it was quite philosophical at times, and I loved the main antagonist of the series. They are a very interesting person. I don't know if I want to talk about them too much. Honestly, I'm just gonna keep this review very vague because I really do recommend checking this series out if you have the ability to. But they are a tremendously good foil for Akiba, the main character, and it is what drives him in the series to almost garner a sense of compassion for humanity. This series also involves a romance that is, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was well developed throughout the series. It kind of balanced out some of the darker tones. You were kind of rooting for it, and then meanwhile, like a whole bunch of horrible stuff was just happening. Also, I would say that the art in this series is just amazing. Like, it is so interesting when Akiba has the ability to go into people's minds and see their thoughts and dreams. It's so good. The general art of this just makes the series flow so well. I think the strongest parts of this series is definitely, well, it has great art, but also I loved the way that they drew thoughts and all of the abstract thoughts that they drew. I love the way that it feels like they're under a huge time pressure, and I thought that the pacing of that was really well done. Also, the ending of the series was really satisfactory for the series, which I can't really say for a lot of manga series. Sometimes, I don't know, the endings just go crazy sometimes, but this series had a very tight idea of what they wanted to do in this series, and they really accomplished it. Yeah, so those are my thoughts towards ES Eternal Sabbath. Maybe I will consider doing a follow-up full spoilers review because there is a lot to talk about in this series. There are a lot of content warnings for this series, I would say, because it deals with a lot of murder and dark thoughts, and there's sexual assault and rape in it, and like it gets really dark sometimes, but overall I think it's a fantastic series that more people should check out and that I definitely want to hear more people talk about. Overall, I really enjoyed this series. I really loved the sci-fi aspects. I loved diving into the minds of individual being guided by Akiba. I loved the antagonist of the series. The ending wrapped it up really well. It was just 8 volumes, which was just enough time to tell the entire story. And I am so glad that I have it within my collection. Now for these reviews, I don't really have like a rating scale or anything, so basically, if I'm reviewing a series, it is generally a series that I think is really good, and if it's not, I will probably tell you otherwise. Anyways, that's all that I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this review and hearing my thoughts about ES Eternal Sabbath. Hopefully I will be doing more reviews in the future, and maybe of series that are more recent. I know that I've been doing, like, I kind of started doing these reviews because I felt like not enough people were talking about these series, but also like some of the series that I plan to review are quite hard to find now. So even if I say that they're super good, I feel like not a lot of people will have the ability to read them. Let's see what kind of series I'll be reviewing in the future. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Let me know if you read ES Eternal Sabbath or any other works like Mars by Fuyumi Soryo. I'm really interested to hear what you thought of the series or what you think of the mangaka overall. If you know any other dark psychological / sci-fi thrillers that I should check out, definitely let me know in the comments below. I hope that you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye!